Rising.
Deep Rising is a 1998 American action survival horror film directed by Stephen Sommers and starring Treat Williams, Famke Janssen and Anthony Heald. It was distributed by Hollywood Pictures and Synergy Pictures and released on February 2, 1998. When a band of ruthless hijackers invade the world's most luxurious cruise ship, they're shocked to discover the passengers have mysteriously vanished. But that doesn't mean they are alone. Something terrifying is lurking just out of sight. A deadly force from the unexplored depths of the ocean that begins to snatch the horrified intruders one by one.
Deep Rising. Desperado.
Desperado is a 1995 American neo-Western action film written, produced, and directed by Robert Rodriguez. It is the second part of Rodriguez's Mexico trilogy. It stars Antonio Banderas as El Mariachi, who seeks revenge on the drug lord who killed his lover. The film was screened out of competition at the 1995 Cannes Film Festival. 5 Desperado grossed $58 million worldwide. The film has been seen as Salma Hayek's breakout role. Director Robert Rodriguez picks up where his successful independent debut El Mariachi left off with this slam-bang south-of-the-border action saga. Butcho, Joe Almeida, is a wealthy but casually bloodthirsty drug kingpin who rules a seedy Mexican border town. Butcho and his men make the mistake of angering El Mariachi, Antonio Banderas, a former musician who now carries an arsenal in his guitar case. Butcho was responsible for the death of El Mariachi's girlfriend and put a bullet through his fretting hand, making him unable to play the guitar.
Desperado.
Faceoff is a 1997 American action thriller film. Sean Archer, a very tough, rugged FBI agent, is still grieving for his dead son Michael. Archer believes that his son's killer is his sworn enemy and a very powerful criminal, Castor Troy. One day, Archer has finally cornered Castor, however, their fight has knocked out Troy cold. As Archer finally breathes easy over the capture of his enemy, he finds out that Troy has planted a bomb that will destroy the entire city of Los Angeles and all of its inhabitants. Unfortunately, the only other person who knows its location is Castor's brother Pollux, and he refuses to talk. The solution, a special operation doctor that can cut off people's faces and can place a person's face onto another person. Archer undergoes one of those surgeries to talk to Pollux. However, Castor Troy somehow regains consciousness and now wants revenge on Archer for taking his face. Not only is Troy ruining Archer's mission, but his personal life as well. Archer must stop Troy again. This time, it's personal.
Interview with the Vampire.
Interview with the Vampire is a 1994 American Gothic horror film directed by Neil Jordan, based on Anne Rice's 1976 novel of the same name, and starring Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt. The film focuses on Lestat, Cruise, and Lewis, Pitt, beginning with Lewis's transformation into a vampire by Lestat in 1791. The film chronicles their time together, and their turning of 10-year-old Claudia, Kirsten Dunst, into a vampire. The narrative is framed by a present-day interview, in which Lewis tells his story to a San Francisco reporter. The supporting cast features Christian Slater, Antonio Banderas, and Stephen Ray. Against the backdrop of a gloomy San Francisco, the nearly 2-century-old vampire, Louis de Pointe-du-Lac, recounts the unbelievable story of his eternal transformation and a life worse than death to the skeptic reporter, Daniel Molloy. Spanning 200 years of cruel betrayals, extreme solitude, and unquenched thirst.
Interview with the Vampire. Speed. Get ready for rush hour.
Speed is a 1994 American action thriller film directed by Jan de Bont, in his feature film directorial debut. The film stars Keanu Reeves, Dennis Hopper, Sandra Bullock, Joe Morton, and Jeff Daniels. Its premise revolves around a bus that is rigged by a terrorist to explode if its speed falls below 50 miles per hour. When a young Los Angeles Police Department Special Weapons and Tactics (SWAT) officer called Jack Traven angers retired Atlanta Police Department bomb squad member Howard Payne by foiling his attempt at taking hostages stuck in an elevator with a bomb. Payne in retaliation arms a bus with a bomb that will explode if it drops below 50 miles per hour. With the help of spunky passenger Annie, Jack and his partner Detective Harry Temple try to save the people on the bus before the bomb goes off, while also trying to figure out how Payne is monitoring them.
Speed. Get ready for rush hour.
Forrest Gump is a 1994 American comedy drama film directed by Robert Zemeckis and written by Eric Roth. It is based on the 1986 novel of the same name by Winston Groom and stars Tom Hanks, Robin Wright, Gary Sinise, Mykelti Williamson and Sally Field. The story depicts several decades in the life of Forrest Gump. Hanks, a slow-witted and kind-hearted man from Alabama who witnesses and unwittingly influences several defining historical events in the 20th century United States. The film differs substantially from the novel. Forrest Gump is a simple man with a low IQ but good intentions. He is running through childhood with his best and only friend Jenny. His mama teaches him the ways of life and leaves him to choose his destiny.
Starship Troopers.
Starship Troopers is a 1997 American military science fiction action film directed by Paul Verhoeven and written by Edward Neumeier, based on Robert A. Heinlein's 1959 novel of the same name. The story follows a young soldier named Johnny Rico and his exploits in the Mobile Infantry, a futuristic military unit. Rico's military career progresses from recruit to non-commissioned officer and finally to officer, against the backdrop of an interstellar war between mankind and an insectoid species known as arachnids. In the distant future, high school kids are encouraged to become citizens by joining the military. What they don't know is that they'll soon be engaged in a full-scale war against a planet of alien insects. The fight is on to ensure the safety of humanity.
Starship Troopers. Broken Arrow.
Broken Arrow is a 1996 American action thriller film directed by John Woo, written by Graham Yost, and starring John Travolta, Christian Slater, and Samantha Mathis. 1. The film's main themes include the theft of 2 American nuclear weapons, the attempts of U.S. military authorities to recover them, and the feud between Travolta and Slater's characters. The film was a commercial success despite mixed reviews. Broken Arrow is the term used to describe a nuclear device that has been lost. In this movie, 2 nuclear missiles are stolen by rogue U.S. pilot Deakins, but hot on his trail is his co-pilot Hale and a park ranger, Terry. The action takes place in Utah's Canyon Country, a high-stakes game of cat and mouse.
Broken Arrow.
Pulp Fiction is a 1994 American black comedy crime film written and directed by Quentin Tarantino, who conceived it with Roger Avary. 4 starring John Travolta, Samuel L. Jackson, Bruce Willis, Tim Roth, Ving Rhames, and Uma Thurman. It tells several stories of crime in Los Angeles. The title refers to the pulp magazines and hard-boiled crime novels popular during the mid-20th century, known for their graphic violence and punchy dialogue. Jules Winfield, Samuel L. Jackson, and Vincent Vega, John Travolta, are 2 hitmen who are out to retrieve a suitcase stolen from their employer, mob boss Marcellus Wallace, Ving Rhames. Wallace has also asked Vincent to take his wife Mia, Uma Thurman, out a few days later when Wallace himself will be out of town.
Rumble in the Bronx.
Rumble in the Bronx is a 1995 Hong Kong martial arts film starring Jackie Chan, Anita Mui and Françoise Yip. It was directed by Stanley Tong, with action choreographed by Chan and Tong. Released in Hong Kong in 1995, Rumble in the Bronx had a successful worldwide theatrical run and brought Chan into the North American mainstream. The film is set in the Bronx area of New York City, but was filmed in and around Vancouver, Canada. Keong comes from Hong Kong to visit New York for his uncle's wedding. His uncle runs a market in the Bronx, and Keong offers to help out while uncle is on his honeymoon. During his stay in the Bronx, Keong befriends a neighbor kid and beats up some neighborhood thugs who cause problems at the market.
Rumble in the Bronx.